Hello there my dudes, Mesna here, and today we're gonna go over the new traction mod. Well, it's not really new, but since Beyond Light came out, we've seen a new change in the traction mod. Before, the mod used to cost 3 slots, and it added a hidden, it had a shown 5, so every time you apply the mod, you would see a +5 here on your mobility, and you would have a hidden 10 that would affect something like movement, and it would affect your overall mobility, which also by chance affected your class ability cooldown, that means your dodge. So now we're gonna go over exactly what the new changes are, how long is that cooldown now, and how well does traction affect this new cooldown. As we all know, in Beyond Light, Bungie decided to change how mobility works for hunters, because now we don't have, once we are 100 tier, so that means 10 mobility, we don't have anymore the cooldown at 9, but we have a cooldown at 11, and that scales up with the rest of the stats. That means that the lower our mobility, the higher is our class ability cooldown. So without further ado, we're gonna start right away with traction plus 100 mobility. We're not running any exotic right now. Okay, well, we're running Stompies, but that doesn't affect our dodge speed. And as you can see, the cooldown is 11 seconds. That means that no matter what we're using, because right now we're using Stompies, traction, and 100 mobility, it will not affect our cooldown speed. Our cooldown speed cannot go over 11. Next up, we can see how 80 mobility means that we have a 22 seconds cooldown. And you're asking yourself, but yeah, I can see that in my stats, why are you checking this? But we're just making sure that once we add something else on top, we're gonna be able to see exactly how much it is. So as we can see, 80 mobility means 16 seconds. Now we're gonna see 80 mobility plus tractions and see how that adds up. As you can see, unfortunately, adding traction to 80 mobility does not change the cooldown. That means that the previous hidden 10 that we had will no longer give us an extra tier of mobility and will no longer reduce our dodge cooldown. As you can see, it ends exactly at 16 seconds. Next up, we have a lightweight weapon with 80 mobility. We knew that our previous cooldown was 16 seconds with 80 mobility, and right now we're holding a lightweight weapon, in this case a Night Watch, and we'll see exactly how our cooldown will change. Well, as we can see, there's something unusual happening here, because 12 does not correspond to any of the previous tiers of mobility, because as we know, it's 14 for 9 mobility and 12. But as we can see, holding a lightweight weapon will give us a 12-second dodge. So holding a lightweight weapon still affects our dodge speed, our dodge recharge speed. And now I'm just making sure that 80 mobility plus the lightweight, and the lightweight weapon, as we can see by the timer, will need to be in our hands. It doesn't have to be stowed. It doesn't count if we stow the weapon in our back pocket. We have to hold the gun in our hands in order to reduce that cooldown. So far we have established that only holding a lightweight weapon in your hands will have an effect on your cooldown. Right now it looks like it's taking away 4 seconds, but we don't know exactly how many tiers will take away. So it looks like it's going to a tier between 9 and 10 with a 12-second cooldown. And now, traction plus a lightweight weapon will also mean that our cooldown is gonna be, if I remember correctly, 12 seconds as well. Because as we established, traction does not affect our cooldown anymore. Same thing, traction with A mobility and a lightweight weapon stowed will no longer affect our cooldown. So we can safely say that we have to hold a lightweight weapon, and the only thing that right now is affecting our dodge recharge speed is a lightweight frame weapon in our hands. I also took the liberty to explore the sprint speed because I've had reports of people saying that the sprint speed is now different. As we can see, we're comparing a normal frame with a lightweight frame, and as we can see, the lightweight has a slight edge, so it effectively makes our sprint faster. Now we're comparing traction and without traction. As you can see, there's absolutely no difference between running with traction and without traction. Now, with an exotic equipped like Stompies, we can see that there's an actual difference between running without Stompies and with Stompies, as the exotic description says. And for our final comparison, we're putting up Stompies, no Stompies, and a lightweight frame plus Stompies. And as the video shows, Stompies and lightweight will stack. Even though it's a slight advantage, it will still be our best possible option if we want to go really fast. And that's it for the video. I hope you can find this informative. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and a comment. Don't forget that I stream every weekend on twitch.tv/Mezna, and I'd love to see you there. I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya! Fine, we all three can snipe, dude. It's not like we're oh, yo! No! Oh no! Somebody clip that.